Jaws 19 is a movie that makes you ask a lot of questions. The biggest one is, how did this happen? I mean, the last film was a failed reboot origin story 7 years ago, and the franchise has been lying dormant ever since. But then dumb old Sharknado came along, and Universal must have been like, oh hey, we've got a shark-based property that we can take to ludicrous heights. And yeah, the film is bonkers, but not in the best way. You see, the thing that's so off-putting about Jaws 19 isn't the shark, but the identity crisis that the film is going through. However, to best understand why we got what we got, we need to delve into the film's development history. So let's start with the script. Fun fact, the script for Jaws 19 wasn't initially a Jaws movie. Like most of the Die Hard films, Jaws 19 started as another script, but was retrofitted for the franchise. And in this case, it was the first draft for the sequel for Piranha 3 Double D, which just pause for a moment. What would the name of that movie have been? Because the first one was Piranha 3D, the second one was Piranha 3 Double D, so would the third one have been Piranha 3D 3? Put your title ideas in the comments down below, because I'm stumped on this one. Then there's the issue of working in all the franchise's history, which is pretty dang dense, but Jaws 19 is surprisingly self-contained, which makes me ask the question, why are you calling it Jaws 19? That just alienates people, like we don't call it 00724. The motif of this video is bad movie titles. Now, I have to applaud the film for not bogging us down with history, and they do actually offer a nice nod while serving as a solid torch passing with the return of Michael Caine reprising his role as Hoagie from Jaws the Revenge in Jaws 6. For our basic story, Michael Caine's granddaughter Miranda Cosgrove is visiting him and stumbles upon the news articles from the events of 4 and 6 and gets the brilliant idea to spend spring break at Amity with her friends while she's also going to be looking into the shark because she's a journalism major. But since we've gotta chase trends, there's a whole bunch of this movie that's found footage. Now, up to this point, while I'm never a fan of found footage, and the setup sounds fairly generic, yes, there are a handful of solid moments. Miranda Cosgrove and Michael Caine set things up pretty cleanly, the dialogue's actually fairly strong, and her friends aren't completely one-dimensional. But that's when the script goes off the rails a bit, because midway through script development, everything was fast-tracked with the addition of Vin Diesel. You see, while Furious 7 was being reworked due to Paul Walker's death, that opened up a 4-week window for Vin Diesel, and apparently back in 2001, he had been approached to be in Jaws 15, but had to decline due to a scheduling issue with Chronicles of Riddick. Supposedly, he was going to be playing Michael Clark Duncan's role, which I can totally see, especially for the Soviet boxing match, and that would have been really cool. But the big takeaway from this is Vin Diesel still wanted to be a part of the series in some way, and Universal wasn't about to say no, so that's why the Coast Guard role was expanded to far beyond what it needed to be in this movie. Like, we've never seen his character before, but we're getting multiple flashbacks of his very dark history, the only benefit of which being the fan service and seeing Halle Berry's character from Jaws 10, but if you're new to the series, you'll be like, hey, why is Halle Berry in these flashbacks? Making me believe that there might have been more to her role, but then that was left on the cutting room floor. Okay, let's recap what we've got so far. We've got what started as a raunchy comedy, but Universal is trying to keep it broad, so it's only rated PG-13, that's almost self-aware with occasional found footage featuring a lot of former Nickelodeon stars encountering an emotionally damaged Vin Diesel, and oh yeah, did I mention that there are heavy-handed environmental overtones? Like, there's a point in the movie where Jason Schwartzman, because sure, he's in here too, gives an incredibly impassioned speech about how the sharks are attacking because we're depleting the world's resources. And then we get an almost identical speech at the film's close when, well, hold up. Spoiler alert, this next section has a handful of third act spoilers, so click here or jump to that number on the timeline if you want to avoid any of that sort of goodness. We good? Great. Why would you have underwater mechs fight the shark if you can't shoot it well? Like, this sequence existed almost exclusively in close-ups, making it very difficult to tell what's going on. Like, when Michael Caine's choke-holding the shark and Miranda Cosgrove needs to shoot a torpedo at it, we need to see a wide so we understand what she's shooting at. Not only that, but mechs are slow to begin with, and water slows your movement down. Pair that with the overly loud score, and by the time we go to Michael Caine's funeral, I think everyone was just unsure as to what happened. But maybe in part that's because I suppose we should address the elephant in the room, huh? Or rather, the shark in the water. Like, we're able to create pretty impressive CGI animals like we saw in Life of Pi, but for some reason this shark almost has a cartoonish quality. It's like as if we're seeing the Roger Rabbited version of the shark from Beowulf or Polar Express. It's just strange. That said, for some, I'm sure Jaws 19 will prove to be a great time. It's got some pretty solid jokes, earlier set pieces and deaths are creative, and the 3D is definitely better than Jaws 3. But for me, it just feels like it's playing catch-up rather than being original. So don't fear the water. fear this movie. So those are my thoughts on Jaws 19. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know some of your favorite or least favorite scenes. And of course, if you'd like more from me, you can certainly subscribe or check out more videos from me right there. If you haven't ever checked out my movie talk series, why not check out the one on Alien with Barry from Game Grumps? It's kind of got a similar horror vibe to like the original Jaws and Jaws 7. Or for more horror, you can check out my societal scares breakdown, chronicling and explaining why some horror films really hit as much as they did. So comment, click, and keep loving movies, guys. As for me, well, I've got a few more Easter eggs that I found in Jaws 19 that I just want to tell you. In the bar scene where Jai Courtney hits on Miranda Cosgrove, just like in Jaws 8, we've got an old woman singing karaoke to I Need a Hero. And when they first arrive at Amity, did you notice that on the docks there's a statue of Kurt Russell's character from Jaws 12, 1 and 2? But the one that I find the most cool is a hybridization of Jaws 8 with Robo-Jaws and Jaws 11, the one where they were in space. Those mech suits are actually upgraded versions from Jaws 8, and what they're called, Xena 6s? Yeah, I mean that was the name of the ship. Just like fun little tidbits. So good on the writers for that at least.